What is up, everybody? Welcome back. This is a beautiful Tuesday evening. We are here with Shellhead Toys Live. Thank you so much. If this is your first time, please make sure to like and subscribe. We have a great time. We get hammered. We talk about drinks and toys. Well, we talk about toys and drinks all at the same time, but we have a good time. We talk about toys. We have guests. We just have a great time, period. We want your banter and we want your input. And as always, Johnny, hit us with that shameless plug.
What up, cunts? Salutations, of course, j5toys.com.
Jesus.
Free shipping. And then Grub Sport, you know where it is. Links down below. Hit the link tree, do all that bullshit.
I just like to say salutations. That sounded so fancy. My finger went up with two, just like this. I didn't even have tea, man. That was great. And Wheezy, as always, thank you so much, man. You do all of our directing, all of our cuts, all of our editing, whatever you want to call it, man. And I think it's mostly the beard and the red hair. But thank you, man, so much.
Yeah, man, my pleasure.
Awesome. And as always, we have a great time. And of course, tonight we have Mr. Derek. And if you don't know, Derek, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well, guys.
Fantastic. We love to have you. If you don't know, Derek is a very dear friend of ours. We see him at all of our local shows that we do together. He is also a famous teacher of sorts. We don't know what, but he's a cool cat. We love him, and we're glad he came on board tonight. And Derek, tonight we are going to go ahead and dabble and dive into the world of the vintage toys that we know are either A, they're worth something, we like them, we enjoy them, but they might be going down in value, or B, they're staying hot and ready and keep your wallet fresh because they're still getting plugged out there. So, Derek, I'm going to put it up to you. Giggity. I'm going to put it up to you and let you kind of dabble on that and tell us, what do you think is going on, man? We're seeing all these toys that were either reproductions or just, if anything, just touches on what we used to have as a kid, and they're out in stores, yet the vintage ones are dropping in value. They're just not holding their value.
Yeah, I see a lot of times in the stores, a lot of the toys that they're remaking are just peg warmers. They just sit there, the new toys. I think Mask, I like Mask a lot, and I think that's going to be a dying one because really no one knows Mask anymore. I think it's a great toy line, a lot of fun, kind of mixed between Transformers and the spy type shows, and no one knows Mask at all.
So do you think that and I'm going to go ahead and touch on that also because I love Mask as, I'm going to be 44, and I remember Mask as a kid, and I remember all the different vehicles they had and all the cool things they had. And I would agree with you that Mask, I'm excited for, I think it's, help me out, Chris. Who makes the Turtles, man?
Loyal Subjects.
Thank you. Loyal Subjects is supposed to be remaking the Mask line. And
yeah, they're doing something with it. We don't know what.
We don't know what. I can't really equate it to Turtles because Turtles, they have their own take on the Turtles. But my only concern would be that inferiority in the plastics and whatnot. But Derek, man, you and I both grew up with Mask, and so I would kind of hope that they pay a good solid homage to the original Mask line and give us toys and figures that make sense. So what's your thoughts?
I think they remade the Thunderhawk, and
that's not Mythic Legion, or that's not I'm sorry, that's not
that was Ramen Toys, wasn't it?
Yes, Ramen. I'm sorry, God, I can't remember the name of the line.
That's why I'm here.
Loyal Subjects. I'm sorry, it's not Loyal Subjects. It was Ramen Toys, in conjunction with the guys that made the Seekers. Who are they? It's gonna drive me nuts. The third-party Seeker line. Riot Toys. Riot Toys.
Oh yeah, he was at one of Jeff's shows.
Yeah, he's been multiple Jeff shows. So Riot Toys, he's part of that. It's a group. If I don't understand it correctly, I'm gonna have to get with him and have him on a cast. But the way I understand it, and if you guys know better, please stop me if I'm wrong. Live casters, please stop me if I'm wrong. But Riot Toys or Riot, whatever it is, if I'm not mistaken, they have their own rendition of popular lines from the 80s. One of them being Mask, one of them being Transformers. So for Transformers, they took their own twist. They write their own real characters, their own bios. and they made Seekers that were, some of them were sentient and some of them were just piloted. And then for Mask, they changed the vehicles just enough to avoid copyright, thank God. And so we had Derek, you're saying what? The Thunderhawk, I think it was?
Thunderhawk, yeah.
Thunderhawk and the Whale with the white Porsche.
Maybe? I've never seen the Thunderhawk a couple times.
I want to see the Whale, and then that's it. That's all they've introduced so far, and they're supposed to be making another vehicle. Jeff Davis, I think, knows pretty well what's coming out. But
with the Mask vehicle, they actually did get hit with a copyright strike the first time around. So there's a batch of them that's different from the first ones.
That would be rad to own the originals.
Yeah. So there's a few amount of those, but then they got hit with a copyright strike because the box art was pretty much dead on to the OG box art for it.
And I think there's an argument for like those toys that were never like re-released. Like Turtles had different itinerations. So there's the 87 cartoon, there's the movies, there's the 2003 show, there's the 2012 show, and they've kind of reintroduced it multiple times, whereas Mask was only introduced once, and it kind of hasn't been talked about besides us in the toy groups.
For sure.
Yeah, I think Turtles have a longer life than maybe certain toys in the 80s that never were re-released. I think Robotech, I think you talked about earlier, people like Robotech, but it was never re-released in like the 90s or 2000s.
I agree with that. So Mask kind of like held its own, right? So like it had its own time slot back in the 80s for cartoons. Kind of like, I don't know if I want to equate it to Voltron because I think it was a little more obscure. Am I wrong? Like even a little more obscure than Voltron. Obscure. Like Voltron was very select in itself. It just grew popularity because of, I don't know, but
anime,
Mask was like off to the side. Kind of like what was the show in the 90s? Was it Cops or Cops and Robbers? The toys they made?
Yeah, it was the Cops. Yeah, the Cops. I think it was.
Like Biker Mice from Mars. When was that? Early 90s?
Early 90s, mid 90s.
So the same thing, right? There were no obscurities or no rando cutoffs to Biker Mice from Mars. It was just Biker Mice from Mars. So I kind of equate that to Mask, where there wasn't anything that was like Mask. These were vehicles that transformed, guys that wore helmets, and the helmets gave them superpowers. It wasn't like Voltron. None of their masks did anything, or their helmets, I should say. All they had were these cats that transformed into a combiner, which was very much like Transformers, or vice versa, right? And Robotech, Wheezy, you look like you're having a stroke.
Well, no, because you said like there was nothing like Biker Mice, right?
What was like Biker Mice? You tell me. That I understood.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No, they rode motorcycles. These are three mice.
Well, they all kind of came off of everyone wanted to get on the Turtles.
Yeah, that's where Biker Mice, Street Sharks, all those animals came from Turtles.
How do you cancel this cast? How do you? Where's the?
I'm just saying.
Cowboys of Moo Mesa, all those, yeah.
So Cowboys of Moo Mesa, I'd get that, but Biker Mice.
Wasn't Toxie before Turtles?
What was what? I'm sorry.
Toxic Avenger. Wasn't that before
Turtles? I don't think those figures came out before Turtles.
What the hell?
The cartoon?
No, my camera's freaking out.
No, I'm talking to Johnny.
Oh, whatever.
I think it started like in the 70s, though.
The Toxic Avenger toys?
80s? Well, the actual media itself. I don't know when the toys came out.
Well, the movies were late 70s, early 90s, or early 80s, I'm sorry. But the figures, the actual factual, because it wasn't just Toxie. It was like Toxie and the Junkyard Crusaders or something like that. That was in the 90s.
Right, but the original Toxic Crusader movies from the 80s, right?
Right, but we're talking about the figures, toys. John, welcome aboard. Seth, you look new, buddy. You seem like a new one. Welcome aboard. I could be wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm cool with that. I mean, I'm not going to be. Tell me I'm wrong.
That I have no idea.
Are you?
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
Chris, you're black, by the way. Your screen's black.
Wow. I mean, I've been told quite the opposite my entire life. Yeah, no, my camera's messing up. I'm trying to fix it.
Chris,
well, I know I've heard from the 50s, Howdy Doody. It was really hot back in the 70s, 80s, and it's kind of dropped off because a lot of people are dying off who like that show, who don't know the property anymore. So it's not as popular as it once was, not as hot, which we might see as some of these toy lines in a couple of years.
I'm glad you brought that up. So we kind of touched on it the last show. So I was on eBay, and I'm looking at I bring this up all the time, but I'm a very Seth. Thank you, man. Toxic Crusaders, 91 Playmates toys. So yeah, it was the 91 line. So good. Thank you, Seth. I'm a big Seth, who sold me a graded turtle, I believe. Thank you. Welcome aboard, man.
We had this conversation last night. You just don't remember.
Yeah, I was hammered last night. I apologize, guys. So as far as talking about toys, so I was on eBay and I was looking at Robotech, and I'm sure I've said this before 1,000 times, but there's all these figures, these vintage figures, and I'm buying them for pennies on the dollar, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me. Why are they so inexpensive? And so as I was talking and as I watched Toy Federation and just getting all this input from everywhere I can, what I'm understanding, and it makes sense, is the generations are dying off or moving on. So I'm 44 and I remember Robotech and I'm still doing Robotech, but somebody who's still my age maybe goes, maybe they're not as open-minded as I am. And they're one of those people that's like, I'm 44. I got to act like I'm 44, right? I got to act old. I got to act like this, whatever. And so they stop believing or enjoying anything they ever enjoyed. And so all they do is go, I live in this house and I pay for this house and I have these kids and blah, 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 and I have my bills. And that's all they do. They have no enjoyment. So they don't venture out into the toy world anymore. And the few that are left over are either A, slowly but surely growing out of it, where it's like, I don't care anymore. I'm not going to collect anymore. I got to worry about my retirement. And those that are before Robotech, let's say vintage G.I. Joe, 12-inch Joes, those guys are going, I'm done. I'm 70 years old. I can't do this anymore. They sell them all off and they move on. So those collectors in that group are moving on or dying off or what have you. And so now that group of toys is not worth what it used to be. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Because the market's just not, or the customer's not there.
But again, I think some toy lines that have been reintroduced multiple times, they'll stay the test of time because there'll be more there'll be those people who like the 03 Turtles or the 2012 Turtles.
I agree with that.
Turtles.
Right.
Well, Transformers is like that, right? Maybe not the original OG line, but Transformers, the entity, will live on as you keep going. But the value of the vintage will fall away because kids are our kids, right? Derek, your kids, my kids, look at the OG Transformers and are like, these are terrible. And they move them off to the side. They don't get it.
I would think for Star Wars, I grew up in the 95 Star Wars, the He-Man Luke, the big buff He-Man Luke. And in the 2010s, I got into the vintage line because it's just easier to collect. And it was a lot more fun to learn the history of it. So I think maybe the Transformers, if they like the newer Transformers, they might get into the G1 line because maybe it's more simpler to collect. It's, it's original.
So I know Pixel Dan touched on this kind of in a video that he was doing a meet and greet somewhere. And one of the kids that came up to say hi was like, oh, when I was real young, I watched your videos about the 2012 Turtles. That's the Turtles for that kid. He had no interest in the vintage because that's not his Turtles. His Turtles are 2012s.
Yep.
So the IPs are going to survive. And you'll have people who love the IPs I want the original stuff too, and will still go after it. But the way I'm seeing is that, the younger generations, they're going to want what's paying homage or what's nostalgic to their childhood, which will be what we consider right now new stuff, right? Sure. That's the stuff that'll have some value as it goes on. But the vintage stuff is the clientele, the customer base will be shrinking on that there'll still be people wanting it. It's like there's been people since I was in high school. They're like, oh, we want records still. Or we buy 8-tracks even though they're my age. They never had an 8-track. There's still people who want that stuff, but just not the vast amount of people my age would have wanted that when I was in high school type of thing.
Yeah, that's a really good point, man. So, to that point, I forget the video I was watching the other day on YouTube, and I spent a lot of time in there. I watch speed runs for arcade games, and I watch a lot of toy reviews. And I was thinking about how I had seen somebody talking about Turtles, and the guy goes, yeah, man, 2012, that was my Turtles. And I'm like, that was your Turtles? I'm like, something hurt. But I got to realize I'm older. I'm way older than some of these kids. And so that is their line. They might be 20-something years old, but that's the line they grew up with, and that's okay. But I got to stop and realize they don't have the same affections or feelings or desire to purchase the vintage Turtles that I grew up with. It doesn't mean they're worth any less, but it may indirectly kill the value at some point because they're not collecting those. So it's just me and the people that are my age buying those toys.
Now, do you see the line, like some of the rare figures still going for a lot of money?
So rare is a very
not rare, but the scratch, the hot spot.
So I'm going to say this. So unless you're selling to an avid collector, the rares per se or the grails from that time are not fetching the same dollar they did forever ago. So I have a scratch myself, and for those of you that don't know, scratch actually, I don't care what anybody says, that was a mail away figure at some point. Everybody says no. You shake your head. I'm telling you, man, it was a mail away figure at one point.
Mail away.
Chris, shh. And so I don't have any accessories. I just have scratch, but I have a unscathed. He came out of the package, beautiful scratch. I don't have his accessories. That figure by himself, loose, used to fetch $3,000 loose. Now, $1,200, $1,500, maybe if he's really, really super duper mint. And you got to hope that you have his accessories and so on and so forth. He could fetch up to 25 to 3 with accessories, but mine, the way it sits, I'm going to overestimate and say $1,500. And that's just what's happening to the line. It's slowly but surely dwindling down until what ends up happening is what happens with a lot of toys, right? So like Star Wars, they're not remaking rocket-firing Boba Fett's, right? Like the OG.
Well, he was also a mail-away figure.
They did remake him too.
The guy that can't remember last Sunday is going to say he remembers this distinctly.
Why are people giving me crap right now? Regardless, the value is only going to remain for figures that are so obscure they never got re-released. Is my thought value? Is my thought? I could be wrong.
I don't know. I just saw they remade Yak Face for the Hasbro, and he's fetching now like $100 by himself, like just the new one, like the
For the reprint.
The reprint, yeah.
What is that, for a fear of missing out, or the fact that people are like, oh, I don't want to pay the price for the original one. I'll pay the deal of $100 to not have to dish out for the original.
Yeah, like that and Mon Mothma were in this. Like Mon Mothma was never made into a vintage figure until this re-release, and they had a big collection of Return of the Jedi, and so Yak Face was one of them. Yeah, so like I don't want to pay $800. So for a loose Yak Face, I'll pay $100 for the re-release, which is the same mold and the same accessory.
So to be able to own the character you want to own for not the price.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seth, you might be on that synthetic crack that I've heard about.
Yeah, Marketplace, they think they have gold on
I'm
Marketplace.
sure there's a dumbass out there that's willing to pay that.
Yeah, forget about Marketplace, dude.
I didn't know what the hell a Yak Face was till I just looked it up. Jesus, that thing's ugly.
Really?
Bro,
Yeah,
I don't like Star Wars.
It was a European release.
Oh. They do things
Game of
differently over
Trumpets.
there.
It was neat.
Just like, some of the Superpowers line, there's what Cyborg was, South American release.
So weird when they do that.
Yeah, I never understood that. Like, they don't like money. Like, they would have sold in the States.
So actually, talking about re-releases ish, kind of. Is anybody else excited to know that like we might get a new version of a retro version of the lair that would scale with the Technodrome they released?
Not really. I mean,
Anybody?
I kind of want to see I want to see the out. I want to see what they've made.
Talk about killing the value of vintage toys. Hey, anybody's excited for this new re-release? It's going to kill the value of the vintage toy.
All right. So I have a real vintage Technodrome. It's actually, if you guys can't see, it's in that back corner over here, like right here. Actually, my finger, right there. So my vintage Technodrome. Steven, we'll get to you in a minute.
Yeah, Power Rangers is that's another whole nother it's like Pokemon.
That's a whole thing, dude. We'll get to you in a second, I promise. So, but Playmates is supposed to re-release the lair, which I don't have. I don't have a lair. I've tried to buy one. I tried to get one from Rich, who goes to Jeff's shows. Derek, you know Rich, right? Beard Rich.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to get one from him. He hasn't put one together in a long time. I'm still on his waiting list. He does a great job putting them together, though. That's how I got my minty Technodrome. I need a lair, and then I need a repop of the lair in the box. I refuse to pay for the one in the box for vintage. But if it's going to be in the box, I want it to match with the newer Technodrome, because the newer Technodrome is that smaller scale.
But I heard the tubes match that. Didn't they say the tubes for the Technodrome?
The tube matches the drapes, yeah.
And the layer, the old layer and the new Technodrome, they match, I think.
I don't have one to compare it to. I haven't heard otherwise, though.
No, that's what I've heard as well, that the pipe fittings will line up to the original layer, or the new layer should line up to the original Technodrome.
I still have my OG layer from when I was a kid, so I can try it out sometime.
Yeah.
There you go.
We're good. All right,
Yeah.
good.
I never had a Technodrome till like a couple years ago, so I've always had the layer. It's in my toy room.
Love it. It's awesome. What do we got here? Scratch Marketplace over 7. So that's what I like more.
The Power Ranger line.
Steve. That's why I like more. Power Rangers toys are constantly remade, but everyone watches the same show. Oh, this is Steve.
But you see that if you go to the Power Ranger groups, everyone's upset that they keep remaking the original OG Power Ranger line and never make the other Space or Turbo or
because those sucked.
SPD. I don't know, but there's fans of those.
Well, hold on. Super Train Megazord. 2 feet tall. One of the coolest freaking toys they made in the line. Way cooler than Pyramidas, who sucked. Meow. But Super Train Megazord was awesome, and I loved it, and it was great. Steve, get off the Green Ranger tail. Go find something else to do, man.
Don't hate on Steve.
It's Steve. We know Steve.
Yeah, Tommy's one of the best Rangers.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's dead. So let's move on. He's fine.
Whoa, that
was too much.
A little too soon.
Is it too soon?
Yeah, that was like yesterday.
He's got to be a skeleton by now.
Jesus Christ!
They'll bring him back. The next transition, he'll come back.
He's been gone for so long. Spirit Halloween took over.
They'll make him that. They'll make him that skeleton character, but it'll be Tommy. They're like, Rita, I work for you. It'll be a skeleton. Okay, that's too much. All right.
I like Steve.
Gustavo, welcome back, brother. We love to see you. Where's your girl? She'll be squatting about chocobos in a minute. All right, it's quiet. All right, cool. So
he wants I was just reading what Gustavo said. He wants a flagship and a Cobra drone.
He wants to remake those?
You talking about like re-release of the flag?
I still think that they should do the flag. They're a re-release of the flag as a HasLab.
Like not like update it, but like do the old 80s.
No, the original re-release of the original one. So it's the 3 3/4 scale. So it's not going to be 20 feet long. You know what I mean?
I agree with the HasLab. I'd like to see them do one. I'd like to see them do one in Legend or not Legacy Legend. G.I. Joe. Oh my God.
Classifieds.
Thank you. I can.
That'll be like a whole guest room.
Yeah,
it'll be my house. Classified scale.
I don't think they'll ever do that because it'll be too goddamn much. But they could re-release the original one.
That'll still be a lot of money.
Oh, you're 100%. Derek, it'll be like
Oh, grand.
stupid
Easy.
money. Yeah.
Could you imagine if they tried to do the classifieds? It'd probably be like $3,000. Easy.
And
I can't say that I'm not in if it's really cool. Have you guys seen the one? I don't know if you saw this. So I'm on a bunch of toy forums, so you may or may not have seen this. Did you see the guy that I don't know if it's printed? I don't know if they built it, but
3D
it's
printed.
You saw the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It was scaled to G.I. Joe toys?
Yeah, scale to the classified series.
No, the one that was scaled to the 3 3/4. Like scaled. Like for their jets and
There's
stuff.
one that's scaled to classified. There's one that's scaled to the classified. It's fucking massive. It's 3D printed.
I'd have to see it. I don't know if we're talking about the same thing, but the one I
That's a lot
saw,
of filament.
they had like the jets and they had like the helicopter landed on it, and it looked like an honest to God full-size aircraft carrier with all the jets all over, and it was so cool.
I think I can afford the Micro Machine aircraft carrier, not really the G.I. Joe aircraft carrier.
With a bunch of tiny jets and maybe just make your Joes look like they're small.
Yep. We'll pretend little guys are Joes.
Do you guys remember back in the day? I don't know if you do. I might be too old. When you used to buy certain G.I. Joe figures, and they came with like war paint almost.
No.
Like the Indian guy, like the Seeker.
No, so like you could get like the something Viper. He was orange and blue, and he came with like orange face paint. And the point was you could take these little tubes of face paint
Like the
and
Techno
squeeze them out and
Vipers?
put them on you.
Oh, it's just like the Turtles figure, with the wrestler guy, sumo guy. You can put his tattoos on.
Tattoo,
Tattoo,
Yeah.
yeah. You could put his
Yeah.
tattoos on, and then you could put the tattoos on you.
kind of like that.
Huh. I'm trying to picture like the wild colored GI Joes.
I
Don't
mean,
they have
Barbie
like a
does that all-
specific line where they're like neon pinks and oranges and shit?
So if we get Joey on, Joey would know, but Joey doesn't want to join. Joey has all that knowledge too. He can tell us about
Joey
it all.
knows better. He's like, fuck this, I'm running.
That's Joey. Joey's like, nah, I'm good. So they had like these when you bought these Joes, and it was during when I was like, 8, 9 years old. And yeah, Steve, we know. Steve, don't you have like dinner to go to? Give us something else, man. I love you, dude. Thanks for supporting. So they used to have the GI Joes,
I
and they
love
would
you.
give
Thanks
you.
for supporting. Let me diss you really quick.
Well, yeah, I love him. He knows. They would do these colored tubes of paint depending on the character you had, and then aside from that, you could buy like I'm just gonna make up a character. You buy like Snake Eyes, and he came with like a tiny Snake Eyes and like one other figure. How am I the only person that knows
like
about
the metal,
this?
like
Just
Oh,
like
like
you're
a
the only
metal
person
figure?
that knows that Scratch was a mail away figure.
Hold on. You guys should shut up.
I think
man.
there's like some metal figures that came inside or something, like a special commemorative figure, right? Like a small one.
Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can find the GI Joes I'm talking about.
You keep looking for that. And Steve has I wish I still had my Mortal Kombat 3 3/4 scale figures and my Street Fighter ones. I had them all. Then I was stupid and sold them at a yard sale.
I think the Mortal Kombat were bigger though. I think the Street Fighter obviously fit within the line.
Yeah, no, the Mortal Kombat, they were the same scale. They were the 3 3/4.
Really?
Yeah. I remember I had damn near all of them at least. But the first ones I got were Sub-Zero and Reptile. And then it went from there. The collection grew. But then I was told by a stepmother, oh, you're too old for that. You should sell all your toys at a garage sale. And I sold like a tub of my original toys, Turtles, G.I. Joe, everything, for like $50.
All right. I got this. Hold on.
Oh,
John
God.
has me a little further. Hold on. I'm going to share. I got this. All right.
Okay. Wrong.
This. You guys know what I'm talking about?
That's face camouflage. It's not face paint.
Dude.
What figure did it come with? I don't see it with the figure.
Well, it came with a bunch of figures, and these are the little guys that came. Look. These guys, remember this?
Oh yeah.
I feel like the people just printed
think that's-
miniatures.
I think that's later in the line though. They came with a miniature. Like, yeah, there's Joe miniatures.
Yeah, like
But Tony, none of the pictures you showed that face paint with the figures.
son of a bitch. It came with the figure of Tony. It came with
Like somebody bought like a Halloween costume at Walmart and had face painted.
I mean, Barbie does it all the time with like the nail polish and all that stuff.
Yo, maybe you had a Barbie. You just don't remember.
Yeah, Ken was pretending to be a GI Joe for once.
You know what? Fuck it. What's Gustavo talking about? Here we go. Gus, John has Melee Predator. Give us something good.
Yes, Gustavo, I have the Predator too. The
What were
clear
all the
mail away Predator.
But like Scratch was a mail away. I know the Super Shredder was a mail away. What other
Yeah.
turtles were mail aways?
Just Super Shredder. Scratch was never a mail away.
Ooh, Slash is. Oh, wait. Never mind. What? Hold on. Baraka versus Slash. You're saying Baraka wins? Are you on crack? Steve, you live in Pasco? I thought you were somewhere else.
Baraka's got swords for arms.
Slash has awesome for awesome. That's
But
French for
Baraka's
awesome.
like an alien who has superpowers.
Oh,
Slash is
dear.
a giant turtle.
All right, should we go back to Star Wars and vintage toys and what they cost? And no, I don't know. All right, so how about this, Derek? What are your current purchases lately?
I picked up the re-release of the He-Man with the looks like the cowboy guy. I forget his name.
Woody from
No,
Toy Story?
hold on. Let me go get him.
Woody from Toy
All right,
Story.
well, he's doing that. I'll be right back.
Damn it, what the fuck? What's up, Johnny? How you doing?
Hey, you know, fucking Tuesday night, just sitting here doing the live.
Rio Blast.
Real Blast. Oh, okay, I saw him. Do you have a whole crapload of the Masters figures?
I got a couple of them.
Yeah, that's one line. Well, not there's a bunch of lines I haven't gotten into, but even as a kid, I was never into the Masters. I think I only had Clawful. Is that his name? Not Clawful. That sounds like a different character. There's a He-Man figure that's like a crab with a giant claw.
Yeah, the claw. I think it's Clawful sounds close.
Because I'm like, I say it, but then my mind's like, oh no, that's a Street Shark character, maybe. Like I don't know anymore.
Yeah, I love Masters.
I think his
I
name is
actually
Red
had
Lobster.
the ride on Battle Cat as a kid.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my parents sold it, but yeah.
So you disowned your parents? Because that's what I would do.
But I have pictures of it. Yeah.
Sold
They
right on
said they had
Battle Cat.
stolen, or they sold it. Yeah.
Oh man, that's horrible.
Yeah, I loved He-Man, and then Turtles was my next big one, and then Power Rangers and stuff.
So I'm going to tell you, man, they have not missed a beat. The Motu Turtle crossover. I've loved it. Every bit of them has been awesome. And I'm waiting for them to do a Lair / Grayskull crossover. I think that'd be amazing.
I'm looking forward to the graphic novel, like to get the whole story.
I've got the comics. I haven't. I don't know what number they're on, but like every time I go to the comic shop, like, oh, more came in, and then I've gotten everything to date for the Grayskull. I haven't read them, but I got them.
There's a comic for the Grayskull Turtles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know
there's
that.
the comics and the figures, and then I think there's actually the overarching comics, so there'll be a compilation of all of them in the novel.
So, have you guys seen?
I'd take a graphic novel all day. Johnny's frozen.
Johnny
But anyway,
Froze.
so I got the Rio Blast tonight. What I like about it is that the back can come off, like it slides off. So there's no more.
Rumor?
But that's not Turtles and
That's not
Grayskull.
Turtles,
No.
but
That looks rad, man. So there's a graphic novel from... Or
I
not
mean,
graphic novel,
eventually
sorry,
there will
comics.
because once they release the whole series, they'll probably put out a graphic novel with all 5 comics or however
Shit,
many there's going to be.
I'd buy the graphic novel tomorrow. I'm enjoying... Find a Crumps for y'all at one. What the hell does that mean? I'm
Fire.
enjoying the Turtle He-Man crossover, man. Look, the characters are great. The figures are awesome. Like, even if I'm not an opener, but I can tell that even if you open these, they're so cool, man. Like, they remind you of He-Man toys and Turtle toys at the same time. I know it's what it's supposed to do, but when you open them, like, you get that feel of both lines together, and I can see that, and the toys are just in the package. And I think it's awesome, and I really, really hope they make a playset for that.
Fucking
And
Tony.
the figures
Yeah,
really
this
go
toy line
with-
does exactly what it's supposed to do.
And the figures match up. I love the He-Man, the Rocksteady Bebop like mashup for Too
Mhm.
Bad.
Jesus Christ.
What the hell is a crump, and why is it at Walmart?
What the hell is a Ropster Craw? Anybody? Ropster Craw? Nobody? Okay.
No.
Eric
sorry.
got it.
I got it.
Oh, he's talking about Krampus. There's Krampus at Walmart? My Krampus hasn't come in yet. It's pissing me off.
Oh,
What?
Krampus. Hold on.
I would assume he means the NECA Krampus.
First of all, I love you uncontrollably. Shush. I
Whoa.
responded earlier.
Are we going to go down this route real quick?
Oh my! Are you really going, babe? Babe,
Karen
seriously?
Rebel Girl.
Hold on, Rebel Girl.
Right,
Are you
wait.
going? You are not.
I told you should go out and visit her, but no, I don't want to go to California.
I'm happy here. I have hamburgers and vodka.
No.
But you don't have Frank and Sons.
She's not going. That's in Chicago. Is there one in California?
There's one in California. The one Jeff was at was in California. Tony, man, you were so slow.
Hold on. I wasn't going to get married, but guys, I might propose tonight, and you're going to be part of it.
Woo!
I'm not going to
Will she-
do it. I'm
will
not going
she
to really
say
do
yes,
it.
though?
You know.
She hasn't seen you in like 3 months. You think she's going to say yes?
All right, first of all, I dropped her off at the airport. Yes,
Well,
my
that's
sister's
nice.
taking my son tonight. You only have one son. That's so weird. I want pictures and of the place.
Make him beg for it.
Damn right.
I'm not going to put on an outfit unless you tell me to, in which case I might do it anyway.
Oh,
That's so cool. All right, baby. I love you. That's awesome. Send me pictures. Send me toys. I'm going to buy something. It's called Krampus Fight Friends. I have some cool things.
Where is Frank and Sons? L.A.
I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
they have a couple of cases.
it's maybe. I know it's in Cali. The first one, from my understanding, was in Illinois, and then they opened up in California.
California. Here we
The one in Illinois is seasonal, and the
Yeah.
one in California is all year round. What Johnny? What's Gustavo talking about? Krampus, Fright Friends. What's he talking about?
It's not like a stage name.
He never gives context. He just like throws names. Like, oh well. So, Tony, what are you gonna get at Frankenstein's?
I don't know. That's what scares me. She could send me something to be like $1,000 and be like, bring it on, baby. John, what's up, dude? I have found some cool things. He's going there. Well, what you haven't found is Mega Man 6.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Best
Really?
Mega Man game of all time. So I watched John. I gotta like, dude. You and I need to get together. I watched a marathon run of Mega Man 1 through Mega Man 11 last night. It was 7 hours. I started when I got home from work, so I left early. Wait, yesterday? What was yesterday?
Yesterday was Monday.
Sorry, I started it Sunday. I finished it last night. And I watched all the runs from Mega Man 1 through Mega Man 6. Or, 11. And I will tell you that it was insane how redundant some of the runs got. And I never knew that Mega Man... I might be wrong, 7 and 8 were Japanese imports, and 9 and 10 and 11 were all not Mega Man X, actual Mega Man 9 and 10 and 11 were all just redos of the 8-bit standard Mega Man style game. It was kind of weird. I found some cool things we've gone. Corinne, they're only open Sundays and Wednesdays, I think.
I think they're
What am I
open
looking for
Friday through Sunday or Thursday through Sunday.
What I'm looking for. Only my love, honey. Now call me and let me know when you get there, and I will drool over everything you're videoing. Send me a big, long video, and then send me one of the toys.
Tony would like something big and long. Giggity.
Derek, you met Rebel Girl, like my little short girlfriend.
I think so.
She's like up to my shin. She sells Girl Scout cookies sometimes.
Okay.
Speaking of which, we're gonna have some on the 8th.
Corinne will have Girl Scout cookies. Miss Kendall is selling them like crazy. And that is my my daughter, and I love her, and she's awesome and tiny, and she sells a lot of cookies. John, I don't think you and I are ever going to agree on this. I give Mega Man 6 its props, but for me, it's Mega Man 2. That's cute. I remember being a fanboy. But when you actually know the games and you play them, you'll understand that Mega Man 6 is the one to go with. But that's cool. But yeah, we'll get together. We'll have popcorn, and you can sit around being mad and, realizing you're not correct.
Derek, have you played it in Mega Man 6?
I have not played Mega Man 6, and I know there's one on the Game Boy that's super expensive. That was like exclusive to the Game Boy. I think 1 through 5 or 1 through 4 were re-releases, like smaller versions of the NES versions, and then like 5 or 6 for Mega Man for the Game Boy was exclusive.
Look at that.
Yeah, so it really was a cool thing about Mega Man. Like it became, it was Rockman. So you played Rockman 1 through 5, and then Rockman 6 became Mega Man 6. And then, because there wasn't a Rockman 6, it was just Mega Man 6. But Rockman in Japan, 1 through 5, was all regular Mega Man games to just rename. We need Mortal Kombat versus Team Crossover, Chargers, winner. Yeah. Well,
give it time. They'll do it.
Yeah, it's.
They did Cobra Kai and Turtles, so they got to do Mortal Kombat.
That was a bust. But
And
then they did Mega Man 7 and 8, which were those Japanese games that nobody knew. And then 9, 10, 11 all were the 8-bit style regular Mega Man on like an NES style system. So I only learned all that because of the Chris is going to get you guys canceled.
What the hell did I do?
Is it because he's ginger?
I apparently.
We knew that was going to be a thing at some point.
That's messed up.
These things happen.
Now my Lucky Charms are sad. Oh no, I think you're gonna get us canceled. Maybe she's talking to me that you're getting us canceled. See? Context clues, hopefully. I don't think I did anything wrong.
Said anything about anything, but that's fine.
Oh, fuck you mean?
Love you guys. All right, so Derek, go ahead, man. What else you got, dude?
On what? On the topic of the vintage toys, back to.
Yeah, fucking anything, dude.
This show goes everywhere, man. Sorry.
We're all over the place. Look, man, we're not politically correct. We love everybody. We love the banter. But the host is usually drunk, and it's your turn, man. Go.
Yeah, so I think, hot take, I think Mario Land 2, The Secret of the 7 Golden Coins, probably one of the better Mario games for the Game Boy.
Mario Land? I never played
Super
that.
Mario Land 2, The Search for the 7 Golden Coins, where Wario was introduced.
So wait a minute.
I've never played that one.
But there was...
What
was the Wario? Okay, so what was the Wario game for Game Boy?
So Wario Land was Super Mario Land 3.
Okay, so Wario Land I played.
And then there's Wario Land 2 and 3. It kind of, Mario left the scene and Wario took over.
Yeah, I just played Wario Land as a kid.
Because Wario took over Mario's castle. He had a castle in Mario Land.
I can't remember that far in, man. I
I feel like I
Game
haven't
Boy-
played a
when I was a
Mario
kid,
game
Game
since
Boy-
like Mario 64 all of a sudden. Like,
Yeah, 6 golden coins.
Oh, John, I love you. Yes, it's going to happen one day. We'll drink Shiraz and I got nothing. We'll drink, what is it, escargot, and we'll have a Chavlis. Kern gets it. All right, it's fine. So as a kid, there were like 3 games I used to play on Game Boy. One was Mortal Kombat. 2, because you could be Sub-Zero and kill everybody. And then 2 was Tetris. And then 3 was I had gotten. Oh, I'm sorry, 4. 3 was Wario, because I had gotten that for a gift one birthday or whatever. And then the last game I ever had was Kirby Pinball,
Okay.
and that was the greatest game I ever played on Game Boy.
what the
I
hell?
don't know where I was going with that, but it was a great game.
Yeah, there's a lot of bangers. Zelda, Link's
Never played it.
Awakening, Pokemon. I mean, all the Pokemon games for the like. But
I can't tell you how many times, man, I thought about buying a Game Boy again just to play some of the obscure games I played as a kid.
I feel like there's in Mario 6 golden coins. You fight the 3 little pigs. You fight a witch. It's like Bowser's not in the game at all. It's like random villains, like an alien. You like boss battle fight.
I'm gonna have to get that just to play the game, man.
Yeah, it's
It
super
sounds cool.
quick.
I don't know. Since we're talking about vintage games, man, let's ramble down some of the best games we ever played. So I played. I used to own a Dreamcast, and so Dreamcast, when I owned that, was way ahead of its time. At the time I owned it, and one of the games I played on that was Grandia 2, which was an RPG, which is fucking phenomenal. I owned. Oh hell. Sega Saturn, and I forget the damn game I used to play on that. The guy was like, he looked like Sonic, but he was purple. Oh God.
Maybe it
video
was Sonic.
games-
You just had a bad TV.
No. No, it was Sonic and he was purple. He was a real tall, skinny guy. I can't remember what the hell his name was.
Was it one of like the Knuckles friends or something?
No,
Knuckles
it was
Chaotix?
it was an import game from Japan. God, I can't remember what the hell it was. And then I also had sugar diabetes. It was on Dreamcast. Oh, I had the Sonic game on Dreamcast where you could play the game, and then if you took out, there was this little like cartridge thing that came out of the controller, and you could play the game on the little like Game Boy style thing. It wasn't the same game at all, but it was meant to be like almost like Game Boy style.
Yeah, the memory card. You could play like
Yes.
with the KOs
Yes.
or something
Yep.
on the Dreamcast. Yeah, on the Dreamcast memory card.
Oh, John said something about bianal. I don't understand what that means. So
Buy one of those.
No, I've just played all the other ones and they suck, Gustavo. I liked you, Gus. You hurt me. You cut me down.
he don't
John,
like
what are you
it.
talking about? The Analog Pocket. What is that, man?
All those new systems that have all the games emulators on them.
I was going to say, like an emulator?
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know.
I'm surprised you didn't have
Perfect
Turtles on the Game
Dark.
Boy. You talked about your 4 games. Didn't have Turtles?
What is Perfect Dark for 64?
That's
Ooh.
that's the one
Ooh.
Bond, based on Bond again, the different Rare made it.
Oh, shit.
Brain fart.
Gauntlet Legends for 64, for GameCube. Fantastic game, hands down. One of the best games for Gauntlet Legends ever.
I don't know. One of the greatest fighting games was on Super Nintendo was Clay Fighters.
Oh yeah, that was a good
I
one.
don't think I played Clay Fighters.
Clay Fighters was so awesome.
Since it's Shellhead podcast, I'll say that I think Turtles 3 on the NES is better than Turtles in Time. It's longer. I think there's more villains. Like they really go deep into the villains.
So, I will agree with you. All right, so Turtles. So the original Turtles I have never beaten in my life. Turtles 1.
Yeah,
Never
no,
in my life have I beat it. I've watched 1,000 speed runs. I've tried. I can't do it. I will eventually someday do it, but I cannot get to the level of expertise these guys are. Turtles 2, the arcade game, I have beat faster than the world record speed runners on YouTube, and I need to record that. I probably need to upload it because I have watched that game so many times. I learned their moves, and I have managed to beat it in less time than they have. And I need to post that somewhere. But Turtles 3, I have never been able to beat in the amount of time that a speedrunner can do it, much less a world record holder. And I used to play with my brother, and to Derek's point, yeah, that's a phenomenal freaking game, dude. And my brother and I, when we were kids, we used to call that long game night because we knew that was a good 3 or 4 hours. You're gonna be sitting in front of the TV playing this game, and we had it marked down where we'd play all the way through until the street, the bebop level. You'd play to the street. We get to halfway through, and we knew we'd have to use a continue halfway through, and then we'd play all the way through until Leatherhead, the sewer stage. We knew we had to use a continue through Leatherhead, and we'd use one more continue, and that was in the spaceship stage. And then after that, we beat the game. And so we'd play this all the time. My brother would be Donatello, and I'd be Leonardo, and we had a whole strategy to the game before speedrunning was ever a thing. And it was so much fun, man. And then
I think the speedrunners use a certain turtle.
I played later, but
I think I've seen the speedrunners use Raph a lot. I think for the speedrun.
They do. So they use it for that, and they use it for Turtles in Time because Raph does that super kick, and Raph is overpowered. But in the Turtles arcade game, Turtles 2, Donnie has the best reach, and he's most overpowered. And then in Turtles 3, Donnie has the best super, and Leo has the best super. The other two do not have, although they may do more damage, they have the worst hitbox for super. So Mikey has a kangaroo kick where he would kick, but his hitbox was too open. And then Raphael, you can't stop halfway through his super. The other ones you can, because Raph was he'd get up off the ground and he'd shoot back and forth. Sorry, apologize.
There's a real science to it. I just played the games.
It's speedrunning, man. I love
just like
speedrunning.
NES for the Donatello, the first one. Donatello was by far the best, and you had to keep him alive through the whole game.
He's the only one you played. Yep, the rest of them you burn those characters.
You had the distance.
Yeah, the distance. Yeah, I think you played Mike or Raph. I think through the water level, but after that, you try to keep Donnie. I got stuck in level 3. I could get through the second level. I got stuck in 3.
I could get through the water, and that was it.
Man, I haven't played any of those in so damn long.
But Turtles 2, the arcade game, El Rock, 617, 817, I can't remember. I'm sorry, El Rock. He's a speedrunner. And I watched GDQ, which I told you guys before, is Games Done Quick. And those guys earn money for cancer. They run games fast. They earn money. And so El Rock runs Turtles 2. And so I've watched him run that game so many times, I finally learned all of the tips and secrets. And so I just make it happen. I'll tell you for a fact, Krang, the second to last person, has 50 hits you got to do. And all you have to do is hit him in the kneecaps with Donnie, move away, hit, move away, hit, move away. I'll never get hit, ever. You kill him, 50 frames, he's done. With Shredder, you got the 2 Shredders coming on the screen. You hit them. You knock off one mask. You run over to the corner. One goes down to the bottom. One stays up to hit you. The one that stays up to hit you is the real Shredder. And the bottom one can't hit you because you're out of his frame box. That's how much I pay attention to this. And you keep going until you finally kill him. Dude, I'm telling you, it's crazy. And so I learned how to kite certain characters, and I got really good. I can kill everybody in no frames at all. Playing Turtles 2, the arcade game. So very cool, a lot of fun. A game I enjoyed as a kid. And
the NES, the special levels, the ice level, and then the Japanese hut like dojo level. And we've never seen the dog character, that villain from the ice level.
Oh,
The guy who's
You're
throwing the
talking
ice,
about-
the Turtles through the arcade game for NES. Yeah.
yeah. You're talking about the real NES. Oh my God, what is his name? Steve knows. Steve, if you're still on, what is the name of the ice dog from Turtles 2, the arcade game on NES? Steve knows.
But I'm surprised they never came out with that figure. Like that's never been a figure. Like,
Steve said that too, and I agree.
Well, that was one of those things. Like I'm surprised like NECA hasn't touched on it, right? Because NECA seems to be going down those rabbit holes. But like, it always found it curious that like the Playmates never touched on a bunch of characters. Like even from Tournament Fighters, they never did the Shark, Armagon. Like there was characters that they never did, and I never understood why. Eventually, the toy, line started dwindling and dying, but maybe NECA will eventually touch on it. Was it a polar bear?
It was. Steve knows the name.
Okay,
God, man. Steve knows the name of the character.
I mean, I'll see if I can look it up real quick while you guys.
I kind of don't want you to. I kind of want Steve to tell us, but
whatever.
We know, like he knows the name of the character. He might have logged off though.
But I feel
So
like
it was kind of cool. Like I remember that whole level. You had Snowman, and they had like these jumping things and snowmen. And they were just really cool. The black leather jacket. Yeah, John. Yeah, man. I remember the character. Crap. You can look it up, Chris, if you want to.
It reminded me that the episode where Krang turned on the weather machine.
Oh my God.
Yeah, from the neutrinos. So I was like, that's what I thought. It was more that level.
I love the neutrinos.
Oh, was he wearing a jacket, like a leather jacket?
Yeah, black soda jacket, and he's a white polar bear.
Yeah, his name's Tora.
Oh, John just said it at the last minute. Yeah, that's one of those characters that we all thought they would have made, and they didn't. And NECA's missing the boat on that one.
Who knows what NECA has in store? They've got so much shit.
Very obscure character though. So I played them all. I played Turtles in Time. I played Revenge of the Foot Clan. I played Fall of the Foot Clan. I played Hyperstone Heist. You name it, I've played it for Turtles. And I'll tell you that a lot of those were very, very replayed off of each other, right? So like Sega couldn't copy Nintendo and vice versa. And so they make the same damn game, but they'd add a different level and they call it a totally different game. So like Turtles in Time, we had the regular version, which came with, or say arcade, right? The arcade version for the home that had Slash as a main character, which was a casual killer. Nobody could like beat him and it sucked. And then you had the Turtles in Time in the actual arcade, which was the muck sand guy thing, whatever the fuck it was. And he would kick your ass too, but two different characters.
Yeah, Sega had the Hyperstone Heist.
Yep.
And I think Turtles in Time's a better game. It's just like they're the same turtles. Like the Turtles in Time and Turtles Konami Hyperstone Heist are the same turtles. I just think the Turtles in Time's a better game.
I felt like the graphics were better than Hyperstone. Is that just me?
I don't know. It just felt like there was just a mashup. Like there's original Baxter from like the Turtles 2 arcade game. He makes a reappearance. There's Tatsu. That's kind of a cool. They put him into that game, which was kind of cool.
That's a cool twist. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
But it was kind of like they kind of just threw like, oh, there's a Rocksteady. Oh, here's Baxter Stockman. Oh, here's this guy. It was really put poorly together, I thought.
It used to annoy me that they that depending on like the system, they had different characters. The levels is annoying, but even when they had different characters in the depending on which system the game was on. Because you have to buy all the damn systems and the games if you want to play with all the characters.
Is Out of the Shadows the one for the Xbox One and the PS3 or 4?
Was Out of the Shadows the one we had where they had like
it was like super dark?
Yes. I want to say I played that. I want to say it's a really fun game too, man. I want to say I beat it with Damien, my son.
I'm surprised they haven't made the last Ronin game yet. Where you're
Oh, I
Mikey.
can't wait. God, I can't wait. I'm kind of hyper fixated on the last Ronin only because, like, if we're gonna touch on it, I tell you, man, the stories. I read the graphic novel and I'll read it again. God, I might start it tonight. But I read it before, and it's a fantastic novel. It is a fantastic story of the turtles and the way they kind of, I don't want to even say end, but let's kill what do you want to call it? A dynasty of the turtles, right? Let's bring it down. Let's start over again, start fresh with a new group. And I love the way they just kind of like cut and refresh. They bring everybody into the mix. Nobody is off limits. And they address them. They address the brothers, everybody who's fought against them. And I think do a fantastic job of just killing what they need to kill and taking off from there.
Yeah, I about picked up the NECA Grammy April and the 2 baby turtles last weekend.
I haven't found that one yet.
Yeah, I found it over the weekend as well. I hated paying $50 for it.
I thought about it. I'm just not getting to NECA. It's just a rabbit hole. I can't get down, but
it annoys me that when it first dropped in Target, it was $40, and then after like a week, Target jacked the price up to $50. I'm like, oh. In Florida, you never find those things the first week they get released. So I was, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, yep, I'll never see it for that price. And I was right. Fucking $50 for that damn set.
I'll be right back. Keep going.
Oh. Keep going. Goddamn.
Chris, don't let me down. Hurry up.
Oh, man, no. I can't. I had to find out. I'm still trying to find for NECA. I don't think there's anything else in store that I'm looking for.
yeah, I like the NECA. The NECA turtles are great. I just can't get into those products because if I get one, I'm gonna have to get a lot of them.
Yeah, as you can see back here and over here, it's all turtles and predators. It's like Pringles. Once you pop, you just can't stop that shit. But even against the turtles, like NECA, they did recently they're doing those Ben Cooper, the little Halloween costume kids.
Oh yeah.
I've been trying to track those down because I bought a couple of them and now I have to have them all. It's like Pokemon.
And Pokemon's hot now. Just speak of, I can't, like, the cards are, again, it's like 2020 all over again where the cards are just disappearing off the shelves.
Yeah, no, it's insane. They're like on a roller coaster. They go down a little bit and they pop right back up.
I can't believe what they're spending on just to find one card.
Yeah, I mean, obviously because, COVID had its due in bringing it back, and then you had all these YouTube personalities, saying that they're finding cards worth hundreds of thousands of dollars when there really was no ground for that price, but people online saw it and ran with it. So now they're all buying it. You found a $100,000 card?
No, I have a question. So, so Steve just posed something. Good call. I love the last Ronin, but where were the other mutants like Bebop, Rocksteady, and more? So, please.
Well, I mean, it's a well-known fact that turtles live to be like 150, 200 years old. So obviously, rhinos and warthogs die much earlier.
Oh my God, are we going with that?
I mean, it makes logical sense.
Yeah, I can buy that.
Why is Karai alive?
No, it's Karai's grandson, right? Karai, yeah. Never mind.
Karai's alive? It's a
Karai's,
Ronin.
Yeah, but she's Asian. They age really well.
Jesus Christ. All right, Steve, I'm sorry. Bebop and Rocksteady are not Asian. Apparently they died off.
But I thought the last Ronin, there's not many mutants. I thought like the newest comic run line, it was like the World of Mutants. Like New York City had like a bunch of mutants. And this one, last Ronin, it's like just the turtles.
I'm going to say, though, like to your point, Derek, I agree with that, right? It's just turtles. but I would say the same thing. Where the fuck are all these mutants, man, that were involved before Ronin? All of a sudden, maybe it's not part of that universe. How about that?
Yeah, I was thinking it wasn't part of that universe.
So take take Turtles and all that meow and just say, hey, this is the Turtles universe. And in that universe, there was Shredder, Karai, and the Foot. And there was maybe 1 or 2 mutants that have probably died off by now. But the rest are still here. The rest, I say, the 4 brothers and everybody else are still here. And that's Last Ronin. Because it was a very serious graphic novel, book, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
In the original run, like in the 84, 85, like was there many mutants besides the Turtles? I thought it was just the Turtles.
No, there was a lot of mutants.
There's
in
a lot of
original
you
one.
mean the
Not
comic
the-
book or
not-
the show?
Not the adventures, but like the original like run, like when the 84 when it first was released.
So the original comic book, there was not a lot. There was Casey Jones, there was Shredder, there was the Foot
But he's not a
Soldiers,
mutant. I'm talking mutants. Like so, there's
There's
yeah.
Bebop,
Triceratons.
Rocksteady, and the Triceratons. I thought.
Wasn't there a
Rocksteady-
Rat King?
I thought Rocksteady and Bebop were made for the show.
I thought Rocksteady and Bebop were in the comic. Rat King was in there. Maybe you're right. Rocksteady and Bebop were not part of the show, or not part of the comic.
The original run. Like so, like if it was the original, think about like the original run of Turtles, maybe that was.
Wasn't there also a Leatherhead? Leatherhead was in the original comics.
Okay. Yeah, where's Leatherhead? There you go.
They just put up the pre-orders, or you could pre-order the NECA Leatherhead from the original run, I believe.
Well, it's the what the fuck is it? I have him over here somewhere.
Leatherhead's a cool character too, because he's a villain or a hero. In the 2012 series, Leatherhead's
Mine's
a hero
Snuffling.
character. He's actually
Yes.
like part of the team.
Yeah, it's always
Yeah.
interesting when the companies or places do like their new versions, and they kind of change those types of stories of the characters. But same thing with Slash. Like Slash was also bounced around from being a good guy and bad guy. Leatherhead too.
Yeah.
Gus,
So yeah,
he
Leatherhead
got
was
disconnected
definitely in
when
the
he-
Mirage comics.
He get disconnected. We don't know what happened.
Yeah, he said his computer shorted down or something.
Someone commented about the Triceratons. Okay.
Yeah, you had Triceratons. I'm like looking at the figures in the back. I'm like, which ones are Mirage?
No, he's right. So, John, you're absolutely right, man. The Triceratons were the mutant race from space. They came in green and orange and whatever. They were just like that race that the Turtles had to fight, and they were chasing the Fugitoid.
Yeah, they're aliens.
Yeah, that was the whole story. Chasing the Fugitoid came to Earth, and the Turtles were like, well, no, we're protecting him. And that's kind of what happened. But, yeah, it's good, man. It's a good call.
That got me looking. Who else was actually in the villain side? Because I feel like there's a bunch of characters and villains, but they're not ones that like got the mutant sides of them didn't get like a lot of figures, because obviously the figures were based on stuff for the cartoon.
Let's see. Mine are... Derek, you gotta come over one day, brother.
Yeah.
So that you can't even see it, but that's a lot of the Mirage. They're kind of just there. Then behind me, somewhere on the floor.
Yeah, there's because like just looking through like just the character list of villains and stuff. There's a whole bunch of Mirage villains, mutants and stuff, but they just didn't get it. So NECA can go really deep and make a whole crap load of characters from Mirage.
Again, talking about between the original stuff and like
That's
the
wow.
2012, Slash was originally Raph's pet turtle in the 2012 series. So it's the first season he's just him, and then like he mutates like second or third season,
like
which is
this
kind of
big.
cool. Yep.
And then same thing with Toka was in there as a baby turtle, then turned into a giant like space turtle.
Oh yeah.
That's
And then you had
Hey,
So
look, Raph's here.
Slash-
That's dope.
Slash has like 15 different renditions. So Slash, he's supposed to be the evil turtle from Dimension X, and then he was the pet of Bebop, and then he was like some super villain from outside space.
And then he was a pet turtle of Raph.
In the 2012s, yeah.
Maria, glad to see you. Thank you.
But yeah, so yeah, there was definitely a lot of characters and mutants in the Mirage. It's just like I said, they didn't get attention.
And then what the 2010 series came out for comics, and then just exploded with all the villains and characters.
I like the 2010s, man. So, did you guys ever see the 2012 Turtles had their own, like, I say like almost end of series finale almost, but it wasn't.
Yeah, they had like a Last Ronin type show where
in the Wasteland.
Mm-hmm. I think it was like Raph though. I think it wasn't Mikey. It was Raph.
Yes, it was such a great show. How many of you out there saw that? Apparently, Jared and I saw it.
Yes.
Chris, did you ever see like the breakdown, the 2012 cartoon where everybody was like Leo was like a super mutant and Mikey was like out venturing by himself and Donnie's dead. He's a cyborg.
I don't remember anything.
It was so good.
I watched the entire series. Even like the weird one where like they crossed over the different versions of the Turtles and
Turtles Forever.
Yeah, but they did like 2 different versions of that even, and then like the show got canceled. Like, it's definitely a great series though. So it's an amazing series. I honestly think it's my favorite rendition of Turtles in cartoon form.
I wasn't sure Rebel Girl was serious, but they're definitely going to Frankenstein's, and I'm like, I'm so jealous. And she goes, I told you we were going. I'm like, I know, but I'm not there.
But the 2012 Turtles, I think, was one of the best iterations of the Turtles. The stories, everything they did. They paid a lot of homage to what came before them. A lot of Easter eggs.
John, yeah, man. It definitely was, and I enjoyed every aspect of that movie, man. The homage to every series, the character development, the way they did the story. I laughed, I cried. It was all very, very, very well done. And if anything, man, Eastman and Laird should be so proud of the way that movie and that show transitioned and really tied all of the genres of Turtles in together. I'm sorry, I'm a diehard fan, and I am a true believer that is one of the best Turtles movies, cartoons, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. Adaptations ever made. Just a great rendition, a great explanation. So very cool.
Yeah, John, the 03 I think was darker. Yeah, the 87 was great, and then 03 was darker.
I think 03 was way darker. I think 03 was trying to be the comic book, but they tried to do it with a cartoon feel.
And then 12 had like similarities to 03. They had different seasons with like the different theme song. They had different. They had their space season just like 03 did. Yeah, the last season was just kind of them like making up stuff, just finishing up the storyline. The death of Splinter, I would say that's one of the better moments in that show.
That was a crazy episode.
Yeah, when he dies.
With him with Super Shredder.
Yep. And the aftermath, and then it was. They had some really kind of. Then they had Yojimbo, like Yosagi was in it. I think a couple episodes.
Yep.
That season, and then they had like they ended with the like the last Ronin type episode where Donnie is dead, he's a cyborg, and Raph's trying to get the team back together.
Because like in the comics that came out around the same time that the current run, where they have like 180 something issues, they had Donnie dies in that, and they put his brain in a robot, and then eventually
he
comes back.
Metalhead, truthfully.
Yeah, and then eventually they figure out a way to bring his body back. In that same thing, Shredder dies. Splinter takes over the Foot Clan. Then the Turtles join the Foot Clan. And like it's such a great comic series too, and they get dark as shit in that comic series. Like,
Because doesn't Rocksteady or Bebop kill Donnie?
yeah, there was they crack his shell and kill him. They break him in half. But then they bring Donnie back.
What happens is Bebop and Rocksteady are fighting just Donatello, and Rocksteady cracks Bebop's shell, and they both stop, and he goes, "Ugh, that's what they look like inside." And that's when Donnie died, and then they said bring him back, and they mind meld his brain into Metalhead's, and Donnie's dead. It's kind of fucked, man.
It was unexpected. I was like, holy shit, what did I just read?
It was more fucked up because Bebop and Rocksteady, as many times as they fought those guys, you would have thought there would have been some like, fuck, you killed him, man. Like,
whatever.
They didn't care. He was like, oh shit, that's what they look like. He's fucking dead. They walked away.
I don't know. I really liked that whole series. People got all upset, I guess, around the 80-ish mark when they started introducing like the female turtle and everything, and then people started complaining. But I really hadn't seen an issue with that series at all.
Oh, with Jenica?
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about her.
You don't have to like her, but it didn't like destroy the series. People, you know how the world is. Like, oh, you changed something that we grew up on. It's the worst thing in the world now, and it's like it definitely wasn't.
I don't know. I got nothing. I don't know what to think about her.
What, did it ruin the franchise for you? Like, did it ruin the comics?
No, it was more like I don't know why she was necessary.
I mean, just like any other character, why are they necessary besides the main ones, right? Like, why is Alopex necessary to be trying to have sex with Raphael all the time? Who knows? But they're there.
Okay, but I don't understand, like, we have 4 turtles. It's always been 4 turtles. All of a sudden, oh, there's a 5th one, and she's only because they took this chick that they almost killed and interfused her with mutant DNA. Oh, I'm a turtle now.
But we've had a female turtle before.
We're not counting her.
She's actually in the comics too, though. They put her in there eventually.
We're not counting her.
I guess nothing new.
No. Steve, the comics we actually got to see the first time, Bebop Marseille, Tucker Rouser. No. Centurions is a show toy. I wish they would have been. Thank you, Gustavo. Let's change gears. Because I know too much about turtles and I'm getting mad. I'm kidding. It was a lot of reading here.
Yeah, it's a lot of reading. So I've never seen Centurions show.
Ooh. So
I know the toys. I had the toys. I just never saw the show.
Derek, how old are you, man?
41.
All right, so you're my group, my Spectra. So do you remember Centurions or no?
Not really. I mean, I've seen them now. Don't they have all the accessories, like all the weird accessories and stuff with the helmets and
you had a character, and he had holes all over his body.
Yeah.
And you just poked your accessories out. Chris, how old are you? 20-something?
Yeah, sure. Or 40, one or the other.
All right. So Centurions were, you had this figure, and he had like accessories that made him, oh, I'm going to be the water guy. I'm going to be the rock guy. I'm going to be the air guy. Excuse me, water, land, and air guy. And so they had like, oh, I'm a water guy. So I have like a scuba accessory, and let me grab that on. Here's my Centurion power. And then he could go underwater. And then the air guy would be like, oh, let me slap my wings and my helmet on. I can do air now. And those are Centurions. They're really cool toys. And they stopped them. Thank God. It wasn't that great of a series. Cool concept of a toy, but the series was crap. And they let them go. So Gustavo goes, Centurions is a show and toy. I wish they wouldn't be. Gustavo, I got to disagree, man. It was cool, but it wasn't anything that's going to be standing the test of time. The longevity would be gone. They aren't just. They weren't what they were.
I just don't see like the hype. And like when I'm selling this stuff, I've never had Centurions. I've never sold them, but they're really rare to find, and I think they're really the people want to buy them are hard to find sometimes.
And they're expensive as shit when you do find them.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because they're not really sought after. They're just so damn rare, I guess is the way to look at it.
That's one line. You'll probably see the decline once like the people start.
I agree.
He's got to wait on that one.
As the hype fades away, those are going to drop down.
What I run into, there's toy lines that I remember as a kid, but I don't remember the names of them. I just remember like the aspects of what they were. So like, I remember there was like a mummy sarcophagus type thing that had a hologram in the middle of it. Couldn't tell you what the hell it was.
Oh yeah. Visionaries.
Those are oh shit.
Visionaries?
No.
Visionaries, yes.
Yes.
They're Visionaries. Yep.
Like those, things that I never see at any of the shows we go to. I never see any of that shit from my childhood. I'm like, oh man, I need to buy that.
So you won't. Visionaries are very rare, and they're 3 3/4. They're Joe scale, but the toys were fucking terrible. But they're still 3 3/4 toys. So everything they did for that line was 3 3/4 because that's what was popular with GI Joe. And they're they're all
Star
Visionaries. GI Joe. They were 3 3/4.
Star Wars? What?
Is that what?
GI Joe. Yes, Visionaries.
And another one too. There's with like, I know you're talking about too. There's like an Indian guy and a Viking guy. There's taller, and there's like a little ghost they have with it too.
I like I said, it's stuff from my childhood that I can't remember the exact details of.
From Visionaries or something else, Derek?
It's a different one.
All right, so yeah, it's not Visionaries. I just looked up Visionaries. It's definitely not those.
Indian guy and a ghost. All I can think of was Johnny Quest.
I had to look up hologram toys from the 80s and 90s. It's called Supernaturals.
Yep, that's it.
Oh, here Gosaba goes. Pirates of Dark Water. I remember that show, but I don't remember the toys.
Damn, I need to find Supernaturals. God damn it.
I've had a couple. They're
You
cool.
mean Visionaries?
Huh? What? No.
Yep.
Hook toys. The movie was great. The toy line. What happened to that? What?
Pirates of Dark Water.
Pirates of Darkwater, and then there's Hook too.
I was gonna say, didn't Hook and what the hell was the other show? Oh crap!
We're talking about Hook,
Robin
like
Hood.
Robin Williams.
Hook. No. Hook.
Oh.
Robin Hood and Star Wars. Didn't they all share the same like base, like the wood base or whatever the hell it was? Tree house.
So Robin Hood and Star Wars / Superpowers shared the same figures and base. Yeah.
Yes. So
But
didn't
Hook? I don't think was Hook.
I swear
was
didn't
Hook
Hook share the same thing as Robin Hood with like their figures or something?
I don't think so.
Ugh, it's gonna drive
It's
me
well
nuts.
known that they kit bashed the heck out of Robin Hood. Like they pretty much it was like the Ewoks meets Superpowers.
Oh yeah. So there was a lot of kit bashing because those toys didn't have any kind of backing. So they were just like, hey, let's. Well, I watch a lot of Toys That Made Us, right? So I watched with Star Trek, and they took all these Mego and weird toys, and they're like, oh, slap a label on this, and now it's Star Trek from the 60s.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
And less tooling because they're already tooled and just
It's so much fun to collect, though. I love collecting these old, nasty, crazy-ass Star Trek toys.
They said in that show, same show, every time they tried to make a toy line from it, the movie stunk. So then they did do toys, and the movie was great. Like there's no Wrath of Khan toys.
Nope.
That was a great movie. But the first movie had toys, and it was an awful movie. And then they started with 3. They did toys for 3, and 3 was okay. And then 4 was amazing.
2 was the best. They should have the most toys.
Yeah, 4. And then 4 came out, was really good, and there's no toys.
Yep. Those are great movies. The first Star Trek movie is the best only because you get the real, honest-to-God feeling of how big the Enterprise is.
I mean, they're better than Star Wars.
They do that, like, pan-off like thing where they show you, like, this is the whole Enterprise. And then I love Generations I'm not a Star Trek guy. I used to watch it because of my brother. But I love Generations because the opening scene is a wine bottle and it's floating into space. And then it crashes on the NCC 701B. And everybody's like, oh, shit. And they have Kirk and the original cast on the crew. And they're like, hey, we want you here because we're taking off. So they take off. And then, like, something happens, right? And then Kirk's like, huh. And he gets to go get up. And Bones goes, sit down. Let him handle it. You're not the captain. And so shit's going down. And finally Kirk goes, like, gets up and basically goes, what the fuck? And, like, tries to, like, lead the whole thing of what's going on. Shit,
That's because Ferris Bueller's buddy's the captain.
It's so good. I might have to watch it tonight. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller's his best friend's the captain of the Enterprise.
Yeah. He goes, the best thing I can remember is his face. He goes, all engines, full reverse. He has, like, the worst face, man. And everybody's like, okay.
Yep, don't remember any of that.
Yeah,
It's funny, but it's so good.
The first Star Trek is a bore fest. I can't stand number 1. I'll just skip over that one. Go right to number 2. The Star Trek trilogy is 2, 3, 4. You can skip over 5 and 6 and go right to Generations.
Yeah, my dad would probably agree with that 100%. My dad's
They're great movies, man. I love all of them. And Star Trek 6, where the Klingons like impersonate or whatever, they like frame all those guys. They're just because I watch it with my brother, they're just great movies. But anyway, guys, I don't want to cut us off, but I am. I'm sorry, we're running a little late. I know we're live, but Drinks and Toys, we usually try to wind this down to about an hour. We're about 20 minutes over. Thank you so much, everybody who was interjected. Derek, thank you for joining, man.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
For sure. Wheezy, always a pleasure.
Hey, I'm glad to be here.
Guys and gals, thank you all so much. Again, I'm going to plug again and say, hey, if you haven't, look, if this is your first time, great. Thank you for joining. This is what we do. We have a couple drinks. We have a great time. Some of us get a little hammered, the host. And we talk about toys, and we call it a day. But those of you who haven't joined before, thank you so much for joining tonight. Subscribe, man. Have a great time. Come back. See us. Let's talk. Let's walk. Whatever it is. We talk to our guests. We love talking to you guys. Again, when everything's said and done, we only have one thing to say. There's only one thing to say. There's always one thing to say. We believe in one thing on this channel, and it's one thing, and it's...
Fuck me.
Nutcaps! Have a great night, guys. We'll talk to you.